I grew up in a strong Catholic family. I was in the church choir from 8th grade through high school. My husband and I moved to Beloit. I was in search of which parish I wanted to join, and I liked the welcoming atmosphere at St. Thomas, and so that's why I joined St. Thomas. And right away I got involved in music, and I got involved in religious education. So I asked if I could start a youth ministry program, and I said I want to be paid and I want to be trained. We got a new pastor in 1994 who really recognized my gifts and wanted me to be more involved in the parish than just with the children and the youth. I started visiting the sick and the homebound and more involved in liturgy. And so he raised me up in the parish, and I became a real public person in the parish. As I was working on my bachelor's degree, I was interested in psychology, philosophy. I said, that's not enough. I don't have enough. And so I went on for the Master of Divinity degree. We studied side by side with the seminarians. And it pretty much becomes, the picture becomes real clear that we are studying the same thing, and we are being formed together. But then graduation, we separate. Though they get ordained and we do not. I believe the degree changed my life. I was so confident and so prepared for ministering to the people. And so when we became a linked parish and the priest was less available in our parish, I just took over because I knew the parish well and I was confident in my abilities, and I just made the decisions that had to be made, and in his absence. It comes from my heart. It comes from deep within. And I want other people to know how much God connects with us in our daily lives, in every part of our lives. I want people to know that. That's a calling. You don't learn that in technical school. 2008, third Sunday of Advent, of all times, the season of hope. A flyer was being distributed outside of the Cathedral Parish in Madison. Stop the scandal at St. Thomas, Beloit. Request immediate dismissal of Ruth Kolpack. Anyone who causes harm to a child should have a millstone hung around their neck and sunk to the bottom of the sea. I read that quote and I thought, people want me dead. That's pretty wild. I mean, it's beyond my comprehension. I had an enemy in the area because it was signed Faithful Catholics of the State Line Area, something to that effect. I still don't know who they are. I have some idea. But that was the beginning of the end. I get a call on a Saturday saying that the bishop wants to meet with Father Steve and myself. He only wants me at that meeting if I could do three things. If I can make a profession of faith, take an oath of loyalty, and renounce my thesis. Father Steve contacted the canon lawyer to ask if this is okay to do, and canon lawyer said that according to canon law, the bishop cannot ask me to do any of those three things. First of all, he can't ask a layperson to take an oath of loyalty. He cannot ask an individual to make a profession of faith. And the thesis, if he's got a problem with this, there's a canonical procedure to go through. So he could not legally do any of those three things. I told Father Steve I didn't want you here unless you could do these three things. Father Steve said, I contacted a canon lawyer this morning, and the bishop just cut him off right there. Canon lawyer, this lawyer, that lawyer. I'm dealing with civil lawyers. Get a canon lawyer if you want. And he was just in a rage at this point. He was out of his chair, and his face was all red, and his finger pointing, and the whole works. And he repeats the three things. Can you do that? I said, no. And he said, that's it. Does it mean I don't have a job anymore? Come on, let's go. I said, oh, what about my responsibilities in the parish? Let's go. And I looked at the bishop and I said, you know, Jesus is about love and compassion. I said, this is not about love and compassion. I needed to be honest to myself. For my own integrity, I needed to be honest. And so you get fired because of being honest. I don't understand that. I thought we were a church that cared about people, loved people, put the gospel into action. I see this church the way I experienced it is a church that is condemning, so much like a witch hunt. It's not the church that I love. The way the bishop treated me and what he's doing to our diocese it's just sad.